Hello, good morning. And yes, I'm coming a little bit later than planned, but isn't that the norm for me? And more importantly, I realised I completely forgot to do it last week. I had quite a busy Friday, and before I knew it, it was completely gone. But actually, given now how far on I am with the surgery and that the updates are probably going to be slowing down a little bit in terms of progress, I thought it might be a good idea now to take the opportunity of last week's missed update to actually move the updates to fortnightly. So I will now be with you once every 2 weeks instead of every week. So let's get the weight updates out of the way first. Hopefully you can see that there are still improvements happening. So in terms of weight, since my heaviest weight at the beginning of September, which was of course before the surgery, but when I decided to have the surgery and then started losing some weight prior to surgery, particularly with the pre-op diet then in early November. But since early September, I have lost 27.4 kilos. That's 60.4 pounds if you're in the US, or if you're in the UK and think in stones and pounds, then 4 stone 5 approximately. And since the operation in mid-November, I have lost 20.7 kilos, so that's in the last 10 weeks. That's 45.6 pounds or 3 stone 4 pounds. So I am feeling the difference as well as seeing the difference. And the great update today is my blood pressure has been steadily going down. In fact, I think I've talked before about the fact that I quite often get a little bit dizzy, which may be to do with the blood pressure, may also be to do with the continuing ongoing dehydration. But in any case, my blood pressure has been consistently much better. So my GP has taken me off my diuretic and has halved my blood pressure medication that dilates blood vessels. So that's for a month to trial it, and as long as my blood pressure stays good on that, then we're either going to halve it again to the very lowest trace dose, or possibly take it off altogether. So watch this space, and rather I think, you know, for the first month, obviously it's watch and see, and if it stays, then keep me on that, and then aiming to drop it further or come off it altogether in due course. So that's really good news. I'm very pleased with that. So what else can I tell you? Well, I'm carrying on going swimming. I try to get to the pool about a couple of times a week, but I've targeted myself to exercise 3 times a week overall, and I have been meeting that. So in terms of swimming, I do an extra 2 laps, which are an extra 40 metres in total every time I go. So I'm now up to 640 metres, I think. And in order to make it not too boring, I'm having to get faster and faster and faster, so that it doesn't take a ridiculous amount of time. My aim is to get to 1 kilometre and then just to keep swimming a regular kilometre, which should keep me in a good state of fitness. I'm still going to salsa lessons with my husband. I'm still loving it more than he is, but I love him all the more for doing that for me. And it's great actually from a relationship perspective. So if I look at it from a positive psychology rather than health perspective, although of course that ties into health in terms of mental health as well as physical health, but it's great to have that hour every time we go for a lesson where we literally have to just concentrate on the steps and nothing else. So we can't think about work, we can't think about Brexit, which is plaguing our lives, we can't think about everything else that might be on our mind at that point in time, because all we can think about is getting the steps right, being together in sync, and it's a really lovely thing to do together. So I highly recommend it, not just because I love dancing. I think it's a really good activity for couples to do, to really stay close and work on something together. And then this week I've gone to my gym induction now that I'm past the point where I couldn't lift or push weights, because it's really important for me to get some of you know, the flabbiness sorted out. My belly's starting to get a little bit softer and puckered, not quite what I like, but the arms are a really big concern, and whilst I'm not going to be able to completely mitigate the effects of the saggy skin with exercise, I don't think so anyway, but at least I can do something to not make it as bad as it could be. So that's my aim. So I'm now doing weights and things. So I'm going to move on to the positive psychology stuff, which of course I always put into my updates, which is relevant to whatever you're doing, not just weight loss, and certainly not just weight loss surgery. So the first thing I want to talk about today is asking for help. It's one of the first things I started talking about when I started talking about happiness and well-being and resilience, and it's still just as crucial as ever. Obviously, me going for the surgery was the ultimate asking for help, getting a surgeon to help me, because I had been trying for decades to lose weight, and all I'd succeeded in doing was putting more on. And it was time to stop beating myself up and ask for help and get that help to do what I needed to do. And I'm so glad I did. Going for the gym induction, again, asking for help, you know, saying, I want to target certain areas, particular areas. Can you please help me do that? And it was brilliant to do that. And then the support I've had from friends and family, you know, a big shout out to Sue, my mother-in-law, who came and stayed with me for 2 weeks after the surgery, to make sure that I was okay, that I didn't have to lift anything, that I didn't have to do too much, and she was just on hand to help me with anything I needed help with, which was wonderful. So asking for help is really important. I've also, from a professional perspective, just signed up with a coach that I'm going to be working with, to help me with my work, to drive things forward. So we need help in all areas of our lives, and it's important that we're not afraid to ask for it. So whether it's personal things, work-related things, whether you need help from friends, family or professionals, if there's something you're stuck with, if there's something you're doing okay in but you want to drive forward more, you want to achieve more with, it's always a good idea to ask for help, and that's not just a positive psychology thing, but it really does help from your well-being point of view, rather than going round and round in a loop in your head on your own. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is doing activities you enjoy. Now again, I've been talking about this for years in my workshops, in my presentations, etc. It's really important for your well-being to make that time to do things that are good for you, for your soul, that make your heart sing, that make you feel good. From a positive psychology perspective, I've mentioned so many times the importance of having more positive than negative emotions in your life, in terms of building resilience, in terms of broadening your outlook, your ability to have positive relationships, your ability to achieve your goals. It's really crucial, and also the ability to keep yourself physically healthy and undo some of the effects of ongoing stress. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to make time to do things that you enjoy. So for example, when I went for my gym induction, the lady that did it started taking me towards the treadmill, and I went, no, I do aerobic exercise in the form of walking, in the form of swimming, in the form of salsa dancing. So I'm getting my cardio workout and I'm getting my calorie burning workouts that way, and I enjoy that. What I need from you is some weights and things to tone, because I will just get bored coming to the gym and doing any form of sort of treadmill, cross trainer and all of that kind of thing. I don't want that. So again, it's in my case, you know, doing the exercise that I enjoy. I love dancing. I really do quite enjoy swimming, and I quite enjoy going for a walk on a nice day. So it's doing those things. So if I see it's a crisp sunny day, I try and get half an hour's walk in if I can, maximising those opportunities when it's not raining in the UK. So there are lots and lots of things you can do, whether it's 5-minute meditations, 30-second breathing meditations, or spending half an hour reading a book. All of these things, doing things that you enjoy, and that's really important to reduce your stress. It's really important to give yourself that time for yourself. Sometimes to help you reflect, if you go for a walk, it can be a really good time to mull things over almost subconsciously and come up with solutions to maybe challenges that you've been facing, but sometimes also just to give yourself that time to not think, almost treating these activities as a form of meditation. You know, when I'm swimming, I'm just counting lanes. I'm going 1, 1, 1, and I'm hearing my breathing, and I'm seeing and feeling the bubbles of that breathing, and actually just focusing in on that and the feeling of your muscles as you're working them, and just being in that moment. That's a form of meditation. And when I go dancing and I focus on the steps, I see that as a form of meditation, or certainly mindfulness, because you have to be absolutely in the moment, very mindful about what you're doing right there and then. So from that perspective, it's really good to do activities you enjoy as well, because then you're not clock watching and you are mindfully in the moment. So that's it from now, for me for now. That's it from me for now. Put my teeth back in. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you find these updates useful. Do drop me a message. Do let me know I mean, it's great to hear that, you know, the congratulations and the well done, that's wonderful, but let me know if you're finding it useful, if you're finding the content useful. Let me know if there's anything that you do want me to cover. I know that I've had some feedback from one person who would like to see more in the text, and it's something I'm working towards. I just haven't got much time at the moment to do it, so something is better than nothing, so at least I can do a video. But at some point I hope to either add more text to the posts or to do occasional blog posts with a bit more information summarising some of the key points I've talked about in various videos. But so if there's anything that you want me to cover, anything that you want me to go into more detail about, anything you're curious about, whether it's about the surgery or positive psychology, resilience, well-being, the work I do, anything like that, let me know, and I'll be back in a fortnight's time to address all of that and give you an update. Have a wonderful weekend, and speak soon. Bye.